Good evening, everyone, and welcome to WDW Opinion Live. We're back after a brief hiatus. So happy to be here. My name is Conor Brown, and my passion is to help you plan for and daydream about your next perfect Disney World vacation. As the founder and creator of WDWOpinion.com, I do that by sharing content through my blog, podcast, Facebook live streams, and so much more. You can find out all of our content that we have going on over at WDWOpinion.com. And I'm also a former Disney cast member, so I know what it takes to make the magic. Guys, I am so happy to be here. Like I said, we had a couple brief hiatuses, didn't go live last week or the week before because I actually was in Disney World. One guy I was in Disney World with was Austin from Orlando. He made the trek out, hung out with me for a couple of days. Good to see you as always, Austin, but I'm happy to be back here. Tuesday night is always my favorite night because I get to spend it with you, my fellow WDW Opinioneers. What's an Opinioneer? Well, if you're watching this, you're an Opinioneer. An Opinioneer is just what we call ourselves. We take our Disney opinions and we mash them up with Mouseketeer. We put them together. Opinioneers, that's the name of our community. If you want to keep this conversation going after our Facebook live streams, you got to go over to Opinioneers Facebook group. You can go to www.opinion.com/Opinioneers to join. And it's a lot of fun over there. I was posting a lot of content as I was on vacation down at Disney World. It's a really awesome community, but I love coming here every Tuesday night to come and talk to the community in real time. If you are watching on the replay, please join us live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern so you can watch and chat with us in real time. Austin, I am glad to be back as well, my man. And listen, when you do show up, like Austin, be sure to say hello in the chat. Wave to your fellow WDW Opinioneers so that we know you're here, we know you're chatting with us. It's how we build this community, which is so much fun. All right, guys, listen, we're going to dive into a couple Disney news stories this week. Then we're going to go into some WDW Opinion content. Please share all your thoughts and comments in the live stream chat. And I'll be sure to pluck a few of them out as I see fit. But let's get into today's first Disney news story, and that is there's a new bar coming to the Grand Floridian. So this is coming right from the Disney Parks blog. Tie your napkin around your neck, because we are excited to announce that a new Beauty and the Beast inspired lounge is coming to Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa this fall. Very cool. The Enchanting Lounge will celebrate the magic and romance of the popular Disney live-action movie. So that's important to note. Live-action movie. Yes, this is going to be themed towards Beauty and the Beast, but more so on the live-action end and not on the animated end. You can kind of see it right in that image I have going on up there. It's very elegant, very regal, but it's not, kind of like that cartoon animated aspect. It's definitely the Emma Watson live action version. So formerly Misner's Lounge and Commander's Porters, the reimagined lounge will feature 4 unique spaces inspired by Belle and the Beast. The signature bar will glow from the light of a magnificent gold chandelier that takes its inspiration from Belle's flowing ball gown, with subtle nods to the Beast's magical rose. The formal library showcases classic Baroque designs and French furnishings inspired by Belle, with hints of Beast's friends. Interesting. What does that mean, Beast's friends? What do you think? A garden room will be a whimsical space that draws its inspirations from the enchanted forest surrounding Beast's castle, and an outdoor patio will evoke the romance of Beast's garden terrace. Very interesting. So if you did ever go over to Misner's Lounge, or if you are following along on our WDW Opinion Instagram, where we are at WDW Opinion, you probably noticed that when I was in the parks, I actually got the chance to go to Misner's Lounge at the Grand Floridian. So it's up on the second level above the lobby, where you see the big band as you walk into the lobby. It's actually right behind that, or it used to be right behind that. I loved Misner's Lounge. I always thought it was a hidden gem. They had some really nice bartenders there. You get a good cocktail. It was no frills, certainly, but they had a great view of Seven Seas Lagoon, looking right into the Magic Kingdom. So that's something I always appreciated about that place. And when you're in Grand Floridian, you do feel regal. You do feel elegant. So I always like that as well. I went to Misner's on my last trip because I knew it was going to close. It was going to be going under refurbishment. Disney hadn't made this announcement yet. I had heard mumblings of it, but I didn't want to comment on it until it was confirmed. And sure enough, it is confirmed. So while Misner's was very small, this is going to be a lot bigger. It's taking over the shop that was right next to it. So there's going to be, like it says in the article, a lot more spaces. 4 different unique spaces, an outdoor area, which I think is going to be very interesting, but it's going to be open in time for fall. There's a lot of new things coming to Disney World in fall. What do you guys think of this? Is this something that you are set to see Misner's go, or you're more excited for this new opportunity, for this new lounge? Disney is all over these lounge ideas, ever since Trader Sam's, really. These lounges have been popping up all over the place, a place where you can get some interesting cocktails, some interesting drinks, but also some interesting appetizers as well. The Hangar Bar in Disney Springs is another perfect example, as well as Baseline Tap House within Hollywood Studios. So this is interesting. I think the reason they're going with this kind of aspect is because of Be Our Guest restaurant in the Magic Kingdom. They have to go with the live action here because they already have a dedicated restaurant in the Magic Kingdom that is very much based on the animated film, where this in the more regal Grand Floridian is based on the live action film. So that's interesting. Sue Brown, good to see you. Hello from Maryland as well. And oh my gosh, Mr. Andrews, so good to see you. Thank you so much for your kind words about the podcast. I'm very excited that you're here today. Thank you so much for listening. And thanks for being here. It's good to see you, Mr. Andrews, for sure. So yeah, that's going to be a very, very cool lounge coming to the Grand Floridian. I'm excited for it. Of course, it's bittersweet. Like I said, I loved Misner's Lounge. I thought it was very underrated. But this does look very, very cool when it comes to the artist renderings. Like I've said many times before, don't get wedded to these images when it's an artist rendering, because a lot can change even in such a short amount of time with this opening in the fall. But I think kind of know what style it is and understand they're going to continue in that style. It's going to change up. It's not going to look identical to that, but it's going to feel fit in that same style. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be, a bit of an interesting take to see how that fits in the Grand Floridian. It's still based on an intellectual property in Beauty and the Beast, so they have to make it kind of regal, things like that. But if you see some blues in there, that's interesting. There's no blues within the Grand Floridian lobby. It's just a lot of white, a lot of red, gold, things like that. So that's going to be a different kind of take to see in that lobby area. But I'm excited for it. Any new lounge that comes to Disney World is a welcome addition. Sad to see Misner's go, but sometimes you have to get rid of the old in order to make way for the new. Billy Thomas, thank you for being here. Glad to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Shane, how you doing, my man? Haven't seen you in a while. Hope everything is good with you, my brother. Thanks for tuning in, as always. Billy, hey, great question. When is the Skyline opening? I actually saw a couple interesting news stories right before I got on the live stream tonight. Disney basically just confirming some things. Look for it to come online in fall. So probably close to the end of August. We're thinking maybe even September probably is when it's going to come online. I posted a video to our Opinioneers group, to our Instagram page when I was down there just about a week and a half ago. Those things are really cruising along at the Hollywood Studios station, so they have to do a lot of testing, and there's several other stops that haven't really seen any testing, so there's still plenty of tests to be done. There's still plenty of construction to be done, but Disney is still saying it's going to come online in the fall, which makes perfect sense. Shane says he's been busy, working at the kingdom for a while. Well, we're happy to have you here, my brother. All right, let's move on to our second Disney news story of the week. and that is there's actually a new ticket and dining plan options for the UK residents. The reason I wanted to talk about this, we've got a lot of UK opinioneers in our Facebook community and listening to the show, tuning in to this live stream. So I have to give them this heads up because this is an awesome deal they're not going to want to miss out on. So, launching on April 25th, 2019, UK residents who book a Walt Disney World vacation package that includes Disney theme park tickets for at least 5 nights can enjoy free Disney dining or free breakfast for each night of their vacation. Additionally, those who book between April 25th and July 2nd of 2019 for arrivals between January 1st and October 3rd of 2020 can receive a Disney gift card loaded with $200 cash money and a Disney's 14-day unlimited ticket for the price of a 7-day ticket. Memory Maker is also included in that unlimited ticket as well. That unlimited ticket is an awesome deal. Getting 14 days where you can basically park hop, do whatever you want at the price of 7. So awesome. And it also, it's not an annual pass. It's going to be cheaper, but you're going to get 14 days of use. The reason they do that, a lot of people from the UK, from across the pond, do come to Disney World for 2 weeks, or they come to Orlando for 2 weeks. Disney knows this. They just kind of want to give them this offer. So the free Disney dining plan that you get, you have to stay, of course, in a deluxe resort or a deluxe villa resort, and that comes with it comes with a Disney dining plan free. So you're going to get 1 self-service meal, 1 waiter service meal, so 1 sit-down meal, 2 snacks, and 1 resort refillable mug per stay. So the 2 snacks, the 1 waiter meal, and the 1 self-service meal, that's going to be per person per night. And then the free quick service dining plan is going to be people staying at the other sorts of Walt Disney World Resort locations. So like a moderate resort. I don't think they have any value resorts in the free quick service plan, but that's going to be 2 self-service meals per day, 2 snacks per day, 1 refillable mug per day. And then the guests staying at one of the value Disney resorts, think the All-Stars, Pop Century, Art of Animation, that's the people who will be able to get free breakfast with their Disney vacation package for coming from the UK. I'm not sure, they haven't announced, where you can get those free breakfasts. I'm sure you'll be able to get it at the All-Star, food courts, at the Pop Century food court, Art of Animation food court. But just remember, it's tiered. So stay at value, you only get breakfast. If you stay at moderate, you only get the quick service dining plan. If you stay at a deluxe resort, that's when you get the full scale dining plan. Of course, it's going to be different tiers, so you're going to have to work out a lot of the numbers to see, is this something where maybe I should stay at a deluxe resort to get that higher priced dining plan? Maybe it's not worth it or in your best interest. Whatever it is, I think, that getting that ultimate ticket for 14 days for the price of 7, if you're coming from across the pond, you can't really miss that opportunity. And if they're throwing a lot of food at you too, that's going to be a big offer as well. Be sure to check for more details because these offers are really only available January 1st through March 19th or 29th of 2020 and April 19th through October 3rd of 2020. Basically cutting out spring break in that time frame, but they're including summer, which is a big appeal. So all my UK friends out there, UK opinioneers, be sure to check this out. You can go to disneyworld.com for more information on the UK exclusive ultimate ticket package. Very cool for Disney to offer these exclusive things, knowing UK members or UK citizens vacation differently than a lot of us here stateside. So there you go. An interesting story I just thought I had to share with our friends from across the pond. All right, let's move into some WDW opinion specific content. First up, our article of the week. This actually comes from our co-host on the WDW Opinion podcast, Mr. Hank Molsky. He did a whole article just on Disney Plus. I think this is very, very, very awesome, what he's kind of figured out, or what he's deduced rather, from all this news of Disney Plus. let's take a step back. So about last week, Disney had an investors day where a whole bunch of investors got to go. They got to stream the event, but the whole specific thing was about streaming services. So with the Fox acquisition, Disney actually has a majority stake in Hulu. So they have about 60% with Hulu that they own. And then they also have ESPN Plus, which launched about a year ago. But the big thing everyone is excited about is the Disney Plus streaming service coming this fall. And what they announced in this meeting is not only what the interface looked like, not only the 23 original series, the 10 original movies that are coming to the platform when it in the first year that it opens. Not only did they announce that, they also announced all the incredible content that's already been created that's going to come on, like all the Star Wars movies, all the Marvel movies, the entire backlog of Disney animated classics. The big thing that they announced was that this price point for Disney Plus is going to be $6.99 a month. That is incredible, considering if you want to get an HD streaming package with Netflix, the top dog when it comes to streaming, it's almost going to be double. That's insane. There's so much new content that they're bringing, but there's also so much backlog content, whether it is Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, Disney. Fox acquisitions means Nat Geo, National Geographic. On opening day of the streaming service, they're launching with every single episode of The Simpsons that has ever been created. That's incredible. And to come in at a $6.99 price point, it went from, we think Disney Plus is going to be something that's just going to, cater to the die-hard Disney fan, right? The Disney fan who's going to pay whatever Disney is offering to get this on their TV no matter what, to, wow, look at all the stuff they have, all of these different series that is going to appeal to so many people. Oh my gosh, Disney is actually going for the long play of, we're trying to get as much people in as possible with that lowest price point possible. It's not just going to be the Disney fan. That is very, very, very cool. I'm excited for all the new content they have coming, whether it's Star Wars specific TV series like The Mandalorian, Marvel specific TV series. I'm really excited for an Imagineering documentary. Imagineers are the people that created the Disney parks. There's going to be a documentary series about their, the start of that wing of the company, what they've done, how they have grown so much. That's going to be awesome. But what Hank did in this article is he said, this is what Disney is really going for. It's the long game they're playing with this. Yes, they get you in for $6.99 a month. But what they really want you to do is start consuming the content, fall in love with the characters, fall in love with the storylines, and then they have you hooked. What do they have you hooked for? Well, let's say you get in as a Disney fan and then you realize, hey, there's a bunch of Marvel movies on here. I'm going to start watching these Marvel movies. Or there's a bunch of Star Wars stuff. I'm going to watch this Star Wars stuff. Well, what does that mean? Once you start getting into that, then you become a fan. Then a movie comes into the movie theater. For a family of 4, that's going to be close to $60, almost what it cost an entire year's worth of Disney Plus to stream. You're going to take your family because you watched all these incredible shows, incredible movies on Disney Plus. You're going to take them to the movie theater, and that's where Disney's going to make their profits. And then once you fall in love with these characters, you're going to say, I really need a Captain Marvel t-shirt. So you're going to buy that merchandise. That's also where Disney makes their money. And then for the die-hard people who start watching this content, who get hooked immediately, well, what's the next step when you have seen the movies in the theater, when you've gotten the merchandise from all of those incredible content pieces? Well, then you have to live out your own Star Wars, Marvel, or Disney story, don't you? How do you do that? You go to the parks. And that's where they make their most money. It's the most profitable arm of their company right now. And I think from a cost perspective, yes, it has high operating costs, but there's so much money you spend on a Disney World vacation, and we keep going time and time again. Once they get people into that funnel, once they use Disney Plus to get people in as subscribers, they're going to hook them. And that's the long game. They're going to use Disney Plus to make you a die-hard Disney addict so that you start consuming more content in the theaters, so that you buy merchandise, and then eventually you go to Disney World on a Disney trip We all love Disney World so much. Sue Brown, of course, is saying, I'd love to go to Disney World for 14 days. Of course she would. And then Mr. Andrews, Joe Andrews, is saying, I agree with Sue as well. Would love to go to Disney World for 14 days. What Disney Plus is trying to do is trying to get everyone to go to Disney World. Yes, it's about consuming content, but if you go to Netflix, Netflix is more specific to, yeah, they have their own shows and everyone loves watching them, but you love watching Netflix for the content that's on it, not because of the company overall. Disney is trying to come up with series, come up with characters that's going to make you love Disney overall, so that you can go into their parks and experience those stories that you've fallen in love with. It's a really interesting concept, one that Hank kind of brought up and said, I got to write this article. He did a really, really good job with it. If you go over to wdwopinion.com/Disney Plus, that's Disney Plus, you'll be able to read the full article. But also head over to our Opinioneers Facebook group at wdwopinion.com/Opinioneers and post what you think about Hank's article in there. I'll share it. I'm really interested to see what your guys' thoughts and opinions on are that if Disney is going in this direction, or if Disney's just saying, let's just put our content somewhere, and if they pay $6.99 a month, so be it. I think there's a bigger play involved. Hank really got at the root of it. Really, really awesome. So be sure to head over to the blog, to the website, to read up on that. We also talked about Disney Plus on the podcast this week. We talked about a bunch of other stuff as well, including the new Epcot Forever Fireworks Spectacular that is coming to Epcot in the fall. It finally got an opening date. We talked about all of that stuff. We talked about the end of Illuminations and what it might mean for Epcot overall. We also talked about some things coming to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. There was a big panel discussion at Star Wars Celebration, which is a fan convention that happened just last week. And basically the only announcement we got from that panel discussion on Galaxy's Edge is that Coca-Cola will be coming to Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios in Disneyland. They do have some interesting made like bottles that are coming, so it looks like Coca-Cola has made its way into the Star Wars universe. Well, we also shared some unpopular Disney opinions. One of them is the name of this article name of this episode, and it's something I really want to have a discussion with you guys on. As I was making my way around Epcot just the other week, Flower and Garden was going on. I love how the park looks during Flower and Garden. I think it's very, very cool. But I'll also say this, I think for me personally, it might seem like the Epcot festivals are starting to become overrated. What do I mean by that? It's just even a few years ago, it was really just food and wine and Flower and Garden. And all that Flower and Garden had was flowers and garden exhibits. All Food and Wine had was food and wine. They had some concert series, sure, and Flower and Garden had some concert series for sure, but now all of a sudden then there's also Festival of the Arts, and there's Festival of the Holidays. And now July is the only month from start to finish where there's not a single Epcot festival going on, which I think is very interesting because all of these seem to follow a very formulaic model. Food and Wine has a bunch of food booths, has a bunch of cooking demonstrations, and has a bunch of bands that come in and play a concert series. Festival of the Arts has a bunch of food booths, has a bunch of artists that come in to do demonstrations, and has a bunch of Broadway performers singing. Flower and Garden has a bunch of food booths, has a bunch of flower and garden exhibitions, and has a bunch of bands that come in and play music. Everything seems to follow three things, right? Festival of the Holidays at Epcot, it's kind of the same thing. Food booths, people come in to do the candlelight processional. They have some holiday displays in each country. So each has those three things, so they all kind of run together. Even when you're going into the food. Food and Wine, of course, has the most. Next is Flower and Garden and so on. But you can't help but think like, well, this booth is here year-round now. And I feel like at the last festival that just ended a month ago, they had something very, very similar to what they're serving now. Listen, I still love going to Epcot during these festivals. I'll still go to Epcot during these festivals and I'm going to have a blast. But it's gone from, hey, I got to get down for Food and Wine this year. I'm going to plan a trip around Food and Wine to, it's a nice to have. I'm going down regardless. If a festival is going on, of course it's going on. They're always going on. That's cool. I'll check it out. But it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to plan a trip around. So that was my whole mentality. We had a good discussion. I want to get your guys' opinions. Are these Epcot festivals something that you set in stone, you mark on your calendar, you say, this is the day and the time that we're going to Epcot so that we can plan a trip around it? Or is it something where you're just like, well, they're cool, I like them a lot, there's interesting entertainment, but it's just going to be a nice add-on. I'm going at this time no matter what, whatever festival's going on, so be it. Hank is saying, would love to hear counter opinions to his opinions. I'm almost always wrong, and I believe he says, his wife says, absolutely. She can attest to that. Aaron can attest to the fact that Hank is always wrong. Hank still wrote a great blog post, so you got to go over to the Opinioneers community and give him your thoughts on what he thinks about Disney Plus. Danielle, so good to see you as well. Thank you for being here. Hope you're doing well. And Shane is saying, Festival Holidays is amazing, so pretty. And Shane, I completely agree with you. I think all of these are, really cool experiences, very unique, but it's something where they're running together for me, personally. Food and Wine used to be a destination. It used to be unlike anything you've ever seen outside of Disney World, right? Yeah, you've been to food festival before, but never anything on this scale. I think also Disney is getting into a thing where a lot of the food, a lot of the restaurants in certain pavilions at World Showcase are actually run by third parties. Morocco, the Italian pavilion, the French pavilion, all those restaurants are Disney employees to a certain extent, but the management group that's in charge of them is a third-party manager. Now those places are being forced into operating another booth stall almost year-round, so they're not coming with as much creativity as the Disney dedicated food stalls are. I think that's also something to take into consideration. That might be, watering down the whole festival as a whole. Very interesting. Love to know what you guys think. Again, Opinioneers community on Facebook. That's the best place to have all of these discussions. I posted the podcast there as well. Let me hear this. What do you guys want us to talk about on the podcast in the coming weeks? We're always looking for new ideas. Hank and I love to sit down each and every week to discuss the latest news, to give you tips and tricks for your next Disney World vacation. But give us a topic that you think would be fun for us to talk about on the podcast. And if it makes the cut, you might hear it in an upcoming episode. You can share it here, you can share it on our Opinioneers group, or you can send ideas to Conor, that's CONOR, at WDWOpinion.com. And even if you have questions about your upcoming Disney World trips, you can send them to me there as well, and we'll read them on the air. Let's see, what is Sue Brown says. Sue Brown, you do bring up a great point. Are the festivals there to keep the locals returning? So that's something I brought up in the in the podcast episode as well. More people are moving to Orlando who are Disney fans than ever before. They're moving there to be closer to the parks. And also more people in the Orlando area are becoming Disney fans than ever before. Epcot is the perfect place to go after work, to go on the weekends, especially if these festivals are going on. You don't need to ride the rides. You can just pop in, get a quick bite to eat, maybe stay and see a concert, head out after Illuminations. You can get in there very quick and easily. Other than when compared to Hollywood Studios. What are you going to do in Hollywood Studios for a night? Probably not much of anything. Epcot, all these festivals are appealing to those locals because Epcot has become a locals park. It's very, very cool, and these festivals are aiding in that, and they're also probably, there to keep bringing in those locals. But I don't know if these festivals go away if locals aren't going to go to the parks anymore. I think that's pretty much set in stone. Disney has them pretty much hooked into all these things. They're Disney fans now. I think it's an interesting concept, and of course the festivals will keep bringing locals back. But I think we also discussed that Epcot's just becoming a festival park. We've heard news, that Innovations, the main entrance just behind Spaceship Earth, is going to be changing. It's going to be undergoing a massive refurbishment. One rumor we're hearing about that news, and that news is what Disney has actually announced, but a rumor we're hearing about what's going to come is a dedicated festival center that they're building basically from the ground up. And that's going to be a permanent thing. It's not going to be something that's in the old Wonders of Life pavilion like they've had the Flower and Garden and the Food and Wine Festival centers for many, many years. It's going to have a dedicated space that's going to be there year-round. I think that just signifies that Disney is really sticking to Epcot as a festival park. Because there's going to be a permanent structure, I don't think festivals are going anywhere anytime soon. And again, I'm happy. I'm glad. I like the festivals a lot. I just think they might be starting to get a little overrated, and I think people are just happy that something's going on at Epcot when they're there. They're not necessarily planning a trip around it. My marks for the Flower and Garden they're pretty good this year. I got a lot of tasty things. I did get an Orange Bird sipper, which was okay. If you don't know the Orange Bird, he's an old school Magic Kingdom mascot. It was a very cool purchase I made, but the stuff they put inside of it, the frozen orange slush, cream slush, was awful. Absolutely horrific. I sucked down so quickly, washed it out, threw the mug in my backpack. I really just bought it for the mug. But there's a lot of other things. There's a lot of other things at the festival that I enjoyed. I think the Smokehouse, which is over by In America, that's very tasty. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. The Honey Bistro was really good this year. Topiaries were incredible. I love that Kermit and Miss Piggy topiary over in France. So the Flower and Garden this year was still very cool. Hank is saying, a great view of your Epcot from your balcony. Oh, that's from Aaron. Yeah, that's not Epcot. It's just blurry enough to look like the ball. And the windows are dirty enough to appear that the Spaceship Earth is outside there. So thank you for commenting on that, Aaron. I'm not feeling self-conscious at all. This was the first time I decided to open the blinds because it was very bright and sunny out. I didn't think I was going to get any comments, but all right. That's a good thing to, I think, finish the night on. A good little pick-me-up. Shane is saying, I've had good luck with food at Flower and Garden this year, better than last. Hopefully they keep that same kind of caliber of food there, Shane. It's very easy to mess things up, I think, in those small booths. And that's not saying anything, good or bad. It's just a very confined kitchen space. It's very challenging to constantly deliver day in and day out in those small areas. It's tough conditions for the cast members in there as well. But as long as they keep bringing a good caliber of food, a good caliber of entertainment, and a good caliber of exhibits, whether it's topiaries, whether it's cooking demonstrations, whether it's artists for Festival of the Arts, I think these are always going to be a lot of fun. They're always going to be in Epcot, it seems like. It's just, you never know. The only difference is going to be what the name of it is, right? Depending on the season that you're there. Guys, if you have more you want to discuss about any of these news stories, if you have any questions about your upcoming Disney trips, you got to head over to the WDW Opinioneers community. It's where you're an opinioneer, you are an opinioneer for watching this, for tuning in here, for listening to the podcast, whatever it is. You're an opinioneer, which means you're just a diehard Disney fan, and you want to join a community of fellow diehard Disney fans. The Opinioneers community is where you do just that. Head over to wdwopinion.com/opinioneers. Join that. Share your thoughts and comments about this episode of the live stream, about this episode of the podcast. We'd love to hear from you. All right, guys, listen, that's going to do it for me this evening. I'm so happy that I was able to do this Tuesday. Tonight, as I said, the last 2 Tuesdays, I was preoccupied with Disney World, whether it was going there or coming back. So I'm so happy to be back. As I said, I love Tuesdays. I love sharing my Tuesday nights with you guys, my fellow opinioneers. We had a great discussion this evening. Listen, I hope you have an incredible rest of your week, the best week ever. And until next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook Livestream, join us. But until next time, I'll see you real soon.